Hello my dear students, welcome to computer science class. In our previous video class, we have started with the topic that is inputting a single character and outputting a single character, and then few of the character functions we have discussed. Let us continue with the same here, that is some of the character functions we shall discuss. But before to that, let us have a quick glance on what are the functions that are being used to read a single characters and what are the functions that is used to output the single character. So in order to read a single character, we have a function known as get. So how do we write this particular get? Instead of cin, we can use a function known as get. So herein we have declared a variable called as ch of data type character. When your next one statement, I could have written here cout, enter the character. So when you're asking the user to enter the character, instead of directly writing like cin stream extraction and then followed by ch, the variable name, I'm using a function known as get, which would help me to read only the single character. So how will we need to write the syntax? Get followed by its variable name is equals to cin. Or you can even write it in this way, like cin dot get ch and then store that particular variable in again the same variable known as ch. So either of these syntax you can read, you can use to read a single character. Then let us see what is the function that is used to print a single character, that is put function. So how will we use the put function is cout followed by dot operator, then put and followed by ch. So this is a statement that we read using the single character, and this is a next statement what we are going to print that single character what was being read by the function known as get. So we have discussed with one of the programming example how to determine the type of a character. Therein we have seen how to use the get function. Now let us discuss another program here. How to convert a character from an uppercase to the lowercase and vice versa by using the built-in functions of character functions. So in order to use the built-in functions of type characters, we need to include a header file known as #include ctype.h. Before we proceed with the programming example, let us have a quick glance on what is a character. Character represents a single character which is enclosed within a single quotes, whose value will be converted to an equivalent integer value that is called as ASCII value or the ASCII codes. So let us see the execution of one of the program, that is how do we convert from an uppercase to the lowercase by using the built-in functions. Look at here the header files iostream, conio.h and ctype.h. ctype.h I'm using because I'm using one of the inbuilt function known as like is upper to lower. Similarly, I'm using also like that is to upper also I'm using. So for that sake, I'm using the header file known as ctype.h. Then I've declared a variable known as ch of type character clear screen. I'm asking the user to enter the character. Then because enter the character means I'm going to read here single character. That is why I'm using a function known as get. And this kind of syntax I'm following. Cin.get of whatever it is being read by the get function is being stored in a variable known as ch. Next is what I'm checking, whether your entered character is uppercase or not. Is upper in the sense, what I'm checking whether the entered character what is being stored in this particular variable is an uppercase or not. Similarly, I have two upper. Two upper is used to convert the given type of case to the uppercase, but is upper, it will check whether the entered character is uppercase or not. So before I'm converting, I'm checking whether an entered character is uppercase or not. If it is so, it is an uppercase, then we are entering into the loop. Since it is an assignment operator, first right hand side operations will be performed and then the value will be stored into the left hand side variable. So therefore here whatever the uppercase character is being read will be converted by using a function known as toLower. toLower is a one which will convert from a given case to the lower case. Suppose if it was isLower will check whether the entered character is an lower case or not. So here it is a confusion. isUpper, isLower, toUpper and toLower. toUpper and toLower will be the conversion. isUpper and isLower will be checking for whether a given case is an uppercase or the lower case. So if at all if an entered character is an uppercase, we will convert into the lower case, and after conversion again we are storing the back to the same variable, that is ch. Then after conversion I'm going to print it is an lowercase character is, and then followed by the converted character is there in this particular variable, followed by the variable name I'm displaying here. Else, what if the entered character, if it is not an uppercase at all? If it is not an uppercase, definitely it might be the lowercase. So herein I'm taking the else if. So else if at all if it is an entered character, if it is a lowercase, I'm checking. If it is a lowercase, then convert to the uppercase. Okay, so toUpper followed by a variable name. So whatever the conversion will happen to the right hand side, and the value will be assigned to a variable known as ch. So converted variable will be stored, value will be stored in this particular variable. Then I'm going to print it's an uppercase character and ch. Suppose if at all if you have not entered any alphabet, whether it's irrespective of lowercase or uppercase, if you have not entered an alphabet, instead of that you have entered any number or any some special character, in that case neither it will satisfy the first if condition here. So because if at all if a given character, if it is an asterisk, doesn't match here, then comes to an else part, doesn't match here, then finally goes for the else part here. So this is an else if ladder here. What construct we are using? Looping construct. So else we are going to print that it's not an alphabet. This is how we are able to write a program to convert from uppercase to the lower case and from lowercase to the uppercase by using the built-in functions, that is character functions. Let me compile and show this one. 0 errors. Let me run the code. Look at this. It is asking you to enter the character. Now let me give a character for initially the uppercase character. Enter. See, it is an lowercase character is D. So it will convert and show you the given output. Next, again one more time I'll just run the code with a different output. Now this time let me give the lowercase. If it is lowercase, then it's an uppercase character is the capital D. So I hope you are able to understand how it is converting, because we are using the function isUpper and isLower. First it is checking. After checking, it is converting by using toLower and toUpper. Now let me show you what if at all a special character if we enter. If we enter a dollar is a special character. So see, it's identifying that it is not an alphabet. I hope children you are able to understand. Yes. Moving on to the next topic here. String functions. A very important one. What is a string? String is nothing but it's a sequence of characters which are enclosed within the double quotes. Look at this particular string. Prerna, computers, 2015. These are some of the examples where they are the sequence of character. That means it is having more than one character which are enclosed in double quotes. Okay, those we call it as a string. But what was the character? Character represents only a single character where it was being enclosed within a single quotes. Now, each of these characters will take one byte. Okay, so P, R, E. P is taking 1 byte, R is taking 1 byte, E is taking 1 byte, R, subsequently A, N, A. Each of these are taking 1 byte. After that, now how do we store it in the memory? Okay, So each will be of 1 byte. By default, the compiler would add a null character at the end of the string. So the total size here, it would become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 1 the null character, 8 bytes. So the total memory given for this particular string will be 8 byte, because at the last automatically the compiler will be appending in the sense automatically the compiler will add the null character. This null character, its ASCII value is 0. Therefore it doesn't matter. So each one of them string will be appended with the null character. That null character actually denotes the end of the string here. Therefore, always the size of this particular string will be increased by 1 because of the presence of this particular null character. Now look at this particular example here, students. Hello. So what is the total size here? Actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So how do we represent in the memory? This way. Hello. HELLO, and then at the end we encounter the null character. This is how actually the memory representation will be there in the computer memory. So the number of characters what has been present in the particular string, we refer it as length or the size of the string. So what is the size of this particular string here? It will be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So that is referred to be 6 to be as referred to be as length or the size of the string. Now we have so many built-in functions like string functions. We have string upper, okay, string concatenate, string compare, string compare, okay, string copy. We have different kinds of functions. Irrespective of whatever different functions we are using, inbuilt functions, we need to include an header file known as string.h. Header file must be used. Then what is the purpose of these string functions? Suppose if I have to manipulate the string, if I want to copy the contents from one string to another string, if I have to copy, or if I have to add the two different string and make it as a one word, okay, then we have to go for string concatenation. You can go. And if I want to compare the two different strings, okay, whether they are equal, if I have given a string known as wow and another string also as wow, I want to check its equality, whether both are equal or not. Okay, in that case, if you want to manipulate the strings, then we can go for the string functions. I hope you are able to understand. Moving on to the next concept here, we shall see how to declare a string. So how to declare? We know that how to declare integer. We know how to declare float. We know how to declare a character. But let us today study how to declare a string. So we have to use a data type here first. Okay, followed by the string name here, and then followed by the size. Why do we need this particular size? Because string is one which consists of more than one characters, isn't it? They are the sequence of characters. In order to know the length or the size of that particular string, we need to specify the size here. Now here let us see the example here. Example char followed by the string name. My string name here it is st followed by its size 50. Now this 50 actually indicates the total number of characters in this particular string. When the compiler will encounter this particular statement, okay, when it finds out the size is 50, then the compiler will allocate the required number of memory location in order to store this particular string. Okay, so therefore we need to specify the size here. Therefore this particular string will reserve 50 bytes of to store the character for the string variable known as st. So this is a string variable, then followed by its size. Moving on to how do we initialize a string. So here is an example. So data type followed by the string name followed by the size. Look at this here. How many characters we are having here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. total the size of this particular string will be 9, or by automatically the compiler will automatically append the null character at the end of this particular string. So the total size of this particular string would become 10 bytes. I hope you are able to understand. So here data type followed by string name followed by size is equals to whatever the value you are going to initialize to the particular string. So when we have this kind of initialization, compiler by default it will append a null character. Therefore the size of the string will be increased by 1 value. I hope you are able to understand. Moving on to the next example of initialization. See, similarly here we have another. See, this is another string Hubli I have taken. HUBLI. How many characters? 3, 4, 5. The size of this particular string, yes, will be 6 bytes because at the end we have another null character. Okay. Now look at this particular way of initializing. Here string st is initialized here without specifying any size. Now the size of this particular string st will be determined by looking at this particular values. So what will be the size of this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So the size of this particular string would be 10 bytes plus 1 the null character. So it is not compulsory or mandatory for you to specify the size. Okay, so this is one you can able to initialize. This is one of the way. Moving on to the next one. Yes, data type followed by the string name. Keep your size of the string to be empty is equals to. You can even initialize the string character wise. Okay, when we initialize the strings character wise, then we should actually explicitly specify the string terminator, that is a null character. See, when we initialize in this way, compiler itself will append the null character at the end of the string to indicate that is the end of the string it will append. But suppose if we initialize any of the string like this character wise, this is character wise and E is one of the character because it's representing single character which is enclosed in single quotes. So when we represent in the way of character wise like this, we need to explicitly provide this null character to indicate that is the end of the string. And suppose for an example, if an entire string, if it is initialized to this particular string variable, then the null character will be appended by default by the compiler itself. I hope you are able to understand how do we declare a string and what are the different ways we can initialize the given string. Now let us move on to the next topic here. How do we input a string and how do we output a string? There is another example, character followed by the string name followed by the size and it's the string that is book. So in order to input a given string, we have a function known as getLine function. GetLine is a function that belongs to an header file known as iostream.h. If I need to input, in the sense if I need to given characters of a given string, then I have to use a getLine function. This getLine function would terminate the reading of characters on reading a new line character or when the number of character is read is equal to the size. Now let us look at this example. Scene dot getLine string comma size. This is a general form. Like for an example, if I have declared a string known as char st of 25. If this is my declaration of a string char st of 25, I'll not initialize here. In fact, I'm going to ask the user to enter the string. In that case, how to read that? Suppose if the user is providing a string known as teacher, so I have to read that one. In order to read a string, we are using a function known as getLine function. Now getLine, after that you need to specify the string comma its size. Similarly, now look at this one. This getLine we have even for outputting a string. Now this getLine function, it keeps on reading the number of characters what you are giving in string. Like teacher you have given no TEACHER. So it keeps on reading all the characters what are being given in the string until it encounters any new line character or until it reaches to the number of characters which are equal to the size. Suppose if I given char st of 10, if I have given and you have given the 10 characters, I 10 count as new line character, till that it will read. Or suppose if the size 10 characters you have 10 characters you have given as input and the size you have given as 10, when the size is also matching, then until that it keeps on reading the sequence of characters in a string. That is what is the meaning of it. And the new line character is being read, but it is being replaced by the null character. That means when it reaches to the end of the string, if new line character is there, then it has been replaced by the null character. Let me show this one with a programming example, then you can clearly understand. But before that, let's just have a quick glance on how do we output a string. In order to output a string, we are using a function known as write here. Write is a function that even it belongs to an header file known as iostream.h. Suppose if I want to print what are the characters are there in the given string, if I want to output a given string, then I have to use a function known as write here. How do we use a write function? Cout, okay, followed by dot, followed by a function name known as write, and then string comma size. It's very much similar to the getLine function here. This write function doesn't stop displaying the characters even when it is encountering a null character. That means how many number of characters are being read by the getLine function in a given string, all those characters will be displayed by a function known as write. Even after encountering a null character, it will keeps on displaying. So let us understand this one with a programming example. Now here is an example, students. In order to read a string and print a string, see here, I've taken iostream conio.h and then string.h. I'm taking an header file here. So void main char yes of 50. So this is yes is our string name, size is 50 bytes. Int L. Okay. L I have taken in order to store the size of the given string. Then clear screen, cout, enter the string. See, we need to read the given string. In order to read the given string, I am using a function known as getLine here. Cin.getLine, my string name is yes, comma the size, that is 50 as per the general syntax. Now this I have made it as a comment here. Later I'll explain this one. Then before I output with the write option here, I am finding out the length of the given string. To find out the length of a given string, I am using one of the built-in function known as string length. String length followed, string length you want to find out of which string? I want to find out the length of this particular given string. That is why I have passed it as a parameter here. String length of yes. Okay. So after finding the length of this given string, I am moving that value, whatever the answer is been calculated, I am storing in a variable known as L. Alright. Then cout. Now after inputting, I need to print the given string. So cout, the given string is, followed by I have to use a write function in order to output a given string. Cout.write yes is my string name, comma the L. Why did I take L? Because whatever the string we have read here, we have found out the length of that particular string and I have stored it in this particular variable. So maybe the size here is 50, but I have not, might have given only the 10 characters in this particular string, or I might have given only 5 characters of a given string. Why we need to go till the 50? How much characters we have given in a given string? Those many only characters you need to display, right? So that is why I've taken a function known as string length. I found out the length of this particular given string and store it in this particular variable, and I'm asking the right function to display only those number of characters which are being given in the length. Okay, followed by getCh. So since I've used the built-in function, one of the string function, that is the reason why I have included a header file known as string.h. Let me compile this one. Let me run the code. Now enter the string. Let me enter the string here as madam. Correct. So given string here, I'll go for the window and check the output. See, the given string here I'm getting as madam, isn't it? So we have read the string by using the getLine function, and then we are printing it by the write function. Now let me show you another sample output here. Run. Let me give the computer science. Let me give this as an input here. When I give the string to be as computer science, look at this one. I got the output as computer science. Now this is working well fine because we are using a function known as getLine. Now let me show you how if we have used a cin function, how the output we would have got it. Now let me remove this one as comment here. I'll remove it as a comment. Correct. And above one I'll make it as a comment here. Okay. Then let me run the code. Here let me give the input to be as computer science. Alright. So if you observe here, I'm just getting the computer here. So this is because I'm using a function here as cin to read the input, because this getLine function will keeps on reading the sequence of characters until it encounters any new line character. So even in the middle, if it is encounter the blank space, it keeps on continuing to read. So when it encounters the null, that is new line character, or when it becomes the size of the given string, it is equal to the number of characters. When the size becomes equal, then it will stop reading the characters. Until that, it keeps on reading the characters. That is getLine function. But cin, the moment it encounters any white space or the blank space here, it stops reading the sequence of characters. It will think that it is an end of the given string. That is the reason why I am getting only the computer, because at the time of reading the given input here, it encounters a blank space here and it treats it's the end of the string. So that is by using the cin function. If I use the getLine function, no matter even if it encounters a blank space, it keeps on reading until it finds any new line character. I hope students, you are being clear with how do we use a getLine function, how do we use a write function, what is the difference between if we are using the getLine function, and what will happen when we are using the cin function. So that's all for today. In our next class, we shall discuss few more examples, programming examples related to the string functions. Take care of yourself, students. Thank you.